Hello everyone, this is Mr. Brain Junkie here, and today we're going to be talking about a superhero film called Chronicle. Be ready for some spoilers ahead. We're introduced to our main character Andrew, who has a tough life dealing with an abusive father and a dying mother. Is it me, or do all superheroes have to have broken families? Anyways, he gets this camera and begins recording everything. Probably his way of separating himself from his horrible life. He has this cousin called Matt who looks like he's from Dumb and Dumber. They hang out and everything, but you can tell he's embarrassed about Andrew and his antisocial tendencies. They go to a normal high school where Michael B. Jordan is running for president. Of course, Andrew gets bullied like in any classic superhero movie and nearly gets his camera broken. He tries to chillax on the football field, but the cheerleaders find him creepy with his camera, so he's forced to leave. It seems like our main character just cannot catch a break. We also get a glimpse of his neighborhood full of shady gangsters who also picks on him whenever they get the chance. Andrew doesn't even get a break at home as his father beats him with no warnings, for something that can only be said to be extremely trivial. He gets invited to this party by Matt out of goodwill, but even here, he fails to fit in and gets picked on and beat up once again for recording someone's girlfriend. Andrew runs outside and cries while his heart is as broken as his camera is. Surprisingly, Michael B. Jordan, or Steve, comes out to comfort him. Apparently, he's a very good friend of Matt's. Steve tries to cheer up Andrew and brings him to this weird hole on the ground that Matt found near the party. They jump in like a bunch of lunatics and finds this glowing rock that seems to be alien in nature. Steve goes face to face with the object and it turns red. They all begin having nosebleeds and starts hearing this high-pitched noise. Then the camera blacks out. The next thing we see, the three friends are testing out their newfound powers by throwing a baseball at each other. With some attempts, they're able to stop the ball mid-air with their minds alone. They head back to where the alien object was before, but found the hole in the ground has been sealed up, although they can clearly still feel its presence. The three continues to experiment with their powers, but Andrew clearly shows an inherent gift for his ability, as he's able to manipulate objects with finesse, unlike Steve and Matt. He's able to assemble Lego toys in great precision and create a drawing in his food, while his friends were only able to complete more blunt movements, such as moving a car or scaring little children by making teddy bears float. However, Andrew's personal life continues to deteriorate alongside with his mother's health and his father's frustration in his inability to help. Andrew is deeply affected by this as he's very close to his mother, and she seems to be the only light in his world which would otherwise be filled with darkness. Although Andrew thought about using his powers to help others, similar to Matt and Steve, his inner rage is apparent when he pushed a car off the road simply because its driver was honking at them. The car fell and flipped into a lake where the driver could not get out. Steve reacts quickly and manages to save the man from drowning. This action angered Matt greatly, and he demands that there must be rules about using their powers. Andrew agrees on the surface, but likely feels that justice was served. In his world, where everyone seems to step on him like a piece of garbage, how can he feel any sympathy when he did nothing except the same thing? Eventually, Matt and Andrew receives a phone call from Steve, and they arrive at the scene. They didn't see where their friend was until they looked up in the sky. Steve was levitating in mid-air. The two quickly tries to imitate their friend, and Andrew almost immediately gets a hang of flying, while his cousin struggles and stumbles hilariously. They take to the sky and soars through the clouds just like a dream. One can only imagine the fun that they're having. But soon they begin hearing a loud noise that only grows louder by the second, and before they know it, a plane nearly collides with Steve, which causes him to free fall. Andrew rushes towards his friend and manages to catch him and save the camera at the same time. It seems that Andrew is capable of heroic deeds, but only to those who he deems worthy. Their friendship grows closer and they unanimously agree to take a trip to Tibet, as it's rare to find a place so peaceful. Matt goes to his ex-girlfriend Casey and tries to reconcile with her, while Andrew and Steve hangs out on the city rooftop. Through many words of encouragement, Steve convinces Andrew to join a talent show where he can use his abilities to become popular. The talent show was a success, as Andrew used his powers to seemingly achieve magic-like abilities. His popularity grew, and he is praised by everyone at the show. For once in his life, Andrew is no longer the lonely outcast, and instead becomes the center of the party. Matt also successfully reunites with Casey, and the two leaves the party for a little alone time. Andrew meets this red-haired girl, and they eventually hook up in the upstairs bedroom. Steve is so proud of his friend for becoming a man and tries to listen in on their progress. However, the girl runs out with vomit on her clothing, and Andrew is furiously embarrassed. He blames Steve for laughing at him and curses his friend to get out. Things back home becomes worse for Andrew as his mother struggles to breathe while he tears the spider into fragments. I can only imagine what is going on inside his head. His father takes his frustration of the situation out on Andrew, but this time he fights back and throws the old man on the ground. Andrew flies into the night sky where thunderstorms are quickly approaching. Steve feels Andrew's presence and tries to calm his friend down, but only serves to fuel Andrew's fire even more. In a moment of passion, Andrew directs the lightning at Steve, killing him in the process. At Steve's funeral, Matt demands to know what really happened between them, but Andrew only responds by flying away. He goes to his high school only to find his popularity has faded due to his embarrassment with the girl. The bullies now make fun of him for vomiting. Andrew quickly exacts vengeance this time and pulls out the teeth of his classmate. He convinces himself that his powers make him an apex predator and he should not feel guilty about crushing other humans, just like he would not feel sympathy for crushing a fly. He puts on his father's firefighter suit and literally beats the street thugs one by one for their money as if he was in Grand Theft Auto. He then targets a gas station and steals all the cash from the cash register, but the owner chases after Andrew with a shotgun, and the bullets cause an explosion which kills the owner and wounds Andrew with severe burns. He's taken to the hospital where his father cries in front of his unconscious body. His father reveals that Andrew's mother has already died while Andrew was away and blames his son for not being there. Andrew opens his eyes suddenly and in a fit of rage blows a large hole in the hospital building. Matt senses Andrew using his power and goes to the hospital with his girlfriend. They arrive to see Andrew drop his father from the high-rise, and Matt catches him just in time. Matt tries to drive away, but Andrew lifts the car onto a rooftop and Matt is forced to jump out. He tries to convince Andrew to stop as it's not too late yet. They can both just fly out of here, but Andrew refuses and claims that he is the apex predator. The two fights and crashes into multiple buildings and causing tremendous damage to the city. They fall onto a street where the police quickly surrounds them and opens fire. Andrew creates a force field and stops all the bullets in mid-air. He then unleashes a shock wave which sends the police flying along with their cars. Andrew screams in rage, destroying everything in range and putting innocent bystanders in danger. Matt tries to stop his friend with no results and is forced to throw a spear through his heart. Some time has passed and Matt travels to Tibet just like they planned before. He places the camera on the mountain and promises to use his powers to help people. He then flies away as the camera looks onto the temples. So what do you guys think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys like my video, please press like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time.